Hey everyone, Corey Adamson from Real Mark here. Just a really quick impromptu video today. I've had a lot of questions come through, whether it's on YouTube, on Instagram, or just people out and about saying, what's the best sales strategy? Truth is, there isn't one best sales strategy. Obviously it depends on the house, the suburb, the market, your time frame, how serious you are about getting your house gone, and obviously what your next step is. So today, just while I do my home opens, whenever I get a little gap, I'm just gonna update you all what I think the best strategy is for certain types of houses, and my favorite one to do as an agent. Obviously I've got my personal favorites, doesn't mean that I force those onto anybody. We always go over them in our reviews, in our sales strategy meetings, and try to find a happy medium of what I think will work and what the sellers are comfortable. So I'm gonna do it as a top three. There's three that I use pretty much all the time, and that's either an auction, a set date sale, or a normal private treaty. I'll go through what I like about each one, what I don't like about each one, when I would use them, and how I would use them. Alright, so stick around, we'll get through this, and as I said, it's going to be a very impromptu, just a casual video. I'll be walking around a home open in between clients, and So at number 3 on this list comes private treaty or sale by negotiation, pretty much the stock standard way that you would sell a house. This one involves, doing your standard marketing that I've spoken about in other videos, getting it onto realestate.com.au. Keep in mind this is in Australia, so I'm not sure about other countries. I know America uses Zillow. Putting it on our Facebook, social media, all of that, and putting it out to our database. Doing home opens every Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday, and essentially just asking for offers. So as a price guide, it's a bit different in Perth right now. The market's not as strong as it once was, so we try not to give an exact price guide. We want to be a bit vague on what we tell people and invite them to give us offers and try to make up the price from there. Not make up, but see what the market values the property at. So the good thing about this is you get a really honest, open and honest opinion on what the property is worth, which then you can relay to the owners of the property. Whether it's good, whether it's bad, it is what it is. If a property is worth $1.3 million, everybody's offering $1.3 million, then you can definitely tell your owners, hey guys, this is worth $1.3 million. If you go in and the owners have it in their mind that it's worth $1.7 million, all the offers, say you get 6 offers and they all come in at $1.3 million, well then that property is worth $1.3 million. So it can make some difficult conversations between myself and the vendors, but that's something that we have to go through. There's no point me sitting in a home saying to everyone that comes through, guys, this is 1.7, it's 1.7, everything else around it is selling for 1.3, and then you sit on the market for over a year, end up not selling the property, the vendor gets angry with you, and everyone's just trying to do their job. So that can be a good thing, it can also be a bad thing. The other good thing about it is when you're open to offers, and you've conditioned the owner, they know exactly what their property is worth, it can be a nice quick sale. If you get, say, 4 offers, you present them to your owner, they choose the one to deal with. In Perth, maybe in all of Australia, I'm not too sure, you can only deal with 1 offer at a time, and then you can go through and negotiate from there. So usually with those offers, they come standard, or not standard, but everybody wants a structural building report done and a timber and building pest inspection. So with that, it's just contingencies to the offer. These things have to be ticked off, and then you can go proceed with the sale and settlement. The main problem or hurdle with this type of sale is it can take a long time. So say if the offers are coming in and they're all significantly lower than what the owner wanted, even though it may say that, hey, this is what your property's worth, they may need more money to move on, they may have more on their mortgage, there's a whole list of things that could happen, and you end up getting stuck in that property for endless amounts of time. So we've had properties, through no fault of our own, we like to think, we invite people through to the opens, always follow them up, very diligent on that, but the owners, for financial reasons, they just need more money than what the market is saying that their property is worth. They still need to sell the property, so it's our job to still sell it. We're not just gonna, push it to the side once it gets past 4 weeks, but as I said, you can get stuck in a property. Look around, there's plenty of properties that have been on the market for a year, 2 years, longer than that. We're always trying to get that result for them. It's just part of the process. So sometimes properties take a lot longer than what you would want to sell. And then, as I said, you get stuck in that property. The interest dies down a little bit once everyone's seen the property, especially if people have made offers. They're genuinely not going to come back through, not going to make more offers on a property that's already been on for so long, and it just kind of gets stopped, gets trapped in there. So when that happens, it can be a really good time to take the property off the market for a bit, rest it for say a month, 2 months, whatever the owners can handle, and then relaunch it. It resets online, it alerts people looking in those areas again. You would change up the photos, jazz up the property a little bit differently, and try to get it sold from there. Alright, next on my list is the one that I use 90% of the time. If I can't get the auction, sorry to spoil the first one for you, but if I can't get that over the line, then I'll use a set date sale. So a set date sale, you may have also heard it as an end date sale, a close date sale. Pretty much, set date sale is trademarked by the company that I'm with, Realmark, and it just puts pressure on the buyers to put in their best offer before a certain date. So we would usually run a 4-week campaign. During that 4-week campaign, we would open it 6 times in the first 2 weeks, and then hopefully 6 times in the second 2 weeks, and encourage everyone to put forward their best offer. We're open and honest about it the whole time. We say, hey guys, this is a set date sale. You have until December the 17th to give us your best offer. In that time, we get as many offers as possible. Hopefully there's more than one, and we keep telling people, listen, we've got one offer on the property, we're not going to present it till the 17th. Give us your best to put you in a good position. And that just kind of creates a bit of urgency with them. They know that if they don't get an offer in by the 17th, they may miss out. And it also kind of forces their hand to put in their best offer. Once again, we're very vague about price guide. So I'm not here saying, guys, 17th, that's the end date, put in an offer of 1.5. We never do that. It's, hey guys, this is what the property, is around about worth, a very vague price guide. Give us your best offer where you see value, and then we'll present all the offers at once. Once again, the owner gets to take a pick of their best offer, what they want to deal with, and we'll negotiate with that person. So the reasons I like this one is, one, it adds a bit of pressure. So knowing there's an end date to it, people aren't going to wait around. They're not going to go, oh, we've got to look at another one. We'll do this, we'll do that. It's, if we like this property, we're going to make an offer. Two, knowing that other people will be thinking this way, it kind of forces them to put in their best offer. Once again, we're not trying to pull money out of people that's not there. It's just where you see value in this property, this is what you think it's worth, offer that. And three, for the vendors, the sellers, it shows them that we've got a date that we're working towards, and it gives us something to talk about every time we talk to them. So after each home open, we'll call them, we'll tell them how many through, if they put in an offer, if they didn't put in an offer, and then what we're going to do from there. And it just gives us a bit of a game. So with that, it's really good, as I said, to put pressure on them to get the best offers possible and hopefully not be stuck in the house. So here's the downfall to it. As there always is a bit of a downfall to everything, you can get stuck in the house once again. If you don't get any offers by the end date, people will then ask the question, oh, why didn't it sell by then? What happened here? If you get offers by the end date, but then they weren't accepted, people obviously will ask the same questions and they may not believe you. You say, hey, we had 10 offers. Unfortunately, the owners didn't accept any of them. And then they start thinking, is there something wrong with the house? There's 1,000 things that go through buyers' minds. So that's one way to cross it. And then once again, after the 4 weeks, so you've already been in there for a month, now the end date's over, you've got to put a price on it, and you're into your private treaty. So you change strategies to what we've done before, and you run the risk of being stuck in the house, you don't get the right offers, but there is always a backup. So I'm not trying to put any doom and gloom on it, but it's just the way it is. Things can go really well. If they don't go well, we've got to adjust to that. Before we get to the last one, and my favorite one, I've got 2 special mentions. So these ones are a different type of strategy. They're less standard than normal, but with the right house and with the right sellers, it can be really effective. So the first one is an express sale, where we would have the property for, say, 10 to 14 days. So really quickly, pretty much the owners have to know exactly what they would take, so their lowest possible price, and know that they may not get much more than that. And during that time, we would put it on at a really enticing price. Say if the owner wanted 500,000, we would put it on from 490,000 and try to close that gap. This one can be really effective. We would say, hey, we've got this property for 10 days, 12 days, 14 days, whatever it is. to buy this property, give me $500,000. And it's really open, it's really honest, and people, they tend to like that. They say, okay, well, I can get this property for $500,000. I'll offer $500,000. Doesn't mean it's the end goal. I had one very similar situation, property that needed a bit of work in Jundana. I was telling everyone the price got to $500,000. People really liked the property. We had 30 people through in 2 days, sold the property in 5 days for $530,000. So it just goes to show you, once something's there, if the product is worth more, it's going to get more money. Just because we say it's worth $500,000, $700,000, $1 million, it doesn't mean it actually is. It's what the market. My second special mention is off-market. So off-market, we don't hit the real estate websites. All we do, we put say a $500 to $1,000 ad on our Facebook page. Facebook page has over 40,000 people currently on there. And we would also push that out to our database. We've got an email and SMS database of over 20,000 people. So of those 60,000 people, plus the boost, you're reaching, over 100,000 people easily, usually more like 150,000. And once again, we tell people we don't have home opens, we aren't showing the property. If you want to come through, be serious about it. I can get you through. The owner's given me the keys for today. We try to bring a few people through at a time. And once again, it's like the express sale. We're really honest about the price. So off market, we use it as a test the market type of thing. If you want 1.3, let's see if someone's willing to pay 1.3 straight away. If not, we can either rest it, you can rent it out, you can live in it still, or you can go full market. We sold one at 108 Essex Street in Wembley, off market, 1.5, cash buyer. I think it was 2 home opens, straight in, straight out, nice and clean. Once again, not every property works like that. Some properties are, either less desirable or they're in a location where there's a lot of options and people aren't in a rush. But if it's an elite location, an elite property, this is a really good way to sell your house. All right, and last but not least, obviously my favorite type of sale method is of course auction. Said it before, slipped up a little bit. But auction is just a great way to get the property sold, get the best price possible, and a nice quick transaction. So pretty much with an auction, in Australia at least, all the inspections, contingencies would have been taken care of beforehand. If they're not taken care of, then it'll be in the contract that they don't have them. So if there isn't a structural inspection done, you haven't requested one, comes auction day, that's just not part of the contract. Also, the buyer at the auction has to be cash ready. So it doesn't mean they have to have, say, $1 million cash in hand, but they have to be pre-approved from the bank with the letter ready to go. So as soon as the auction, the hammer goes down, the next day they can go to the bank, they can get the money and make the payment. And with that, we always do settlement. So settlement or closing, after that, it'll either be 30 or 45 days, sometimes 60 depending on the property. But that as soon as that sells at auction, if it's 30 days, in 30 days, you get paid. So as the agent, we get paid. As the seller, they get their money. As the buyer, you get your house. So there's no grey area with that. There's no, finance could take 21 days. It's gone over a little bit. Let's make a variation, do that. It's literally, all right, you're at the auction, you bid, you get the property, done. It settles in 30 days, you get to move. Another reason I love it as the agent, once again, it's quick. We do a 4-week auction campaign, open it, 12 times, and then on the 4th week, we have the auction. At the property, everyone's there, the auctioneer's there, we use one who's a local celebrity, and it's great, brings a good crowd, and you get the property sold, everyone's happy, it's been 4 weeks, you haven't been stuck at the property, everyone can move on. And it's just a great way to do it. The atmosphere of auctions is great. When something sells at auction, everyone's happy. The buyer's happy, the seller's happy, we're obviously happy. And then it comes back to price. At price, it's a lot like a set date sale where, you're worried about other people spending more than you, you're worried about missing out. But auction, it's live, it's in front of you. You know that if you've got $1 million to spend, the guy next to you puts in a bid that's more than $1 million, well, you either have to go over or this property is not for you. So pretty much it means that the market makes the decision. We're not there guessing the price, the owner's not there guessing the price. We obviously set a reserve of what we think that they need or what they're comfortable taking for them to move on to their next step. But at the end of the day, the market makes the decision. So 5 people are there, they're all battling it out, they get it over $1 million and keep climbing, and that's what the property's worth. And it's just a great way to sell a house. Even the negatives in auctions aren't that negative. So of course, if it doesn't sell at auction, people are gonna ask, what did it get to? What did the bidding get to? Why didn't it sell? In Australia, where I'm from, so in Perth, we can do things called vendor bids. Vendor bids or seller bids, which means that the auctioneer can bid on behalf of the seller. So say if the reserve is $1.5 million, we'll work out a run-to price before that, which means if the bidding hasn't gotten to where we want, we'll work out a price where we want it to stop. So we'll bid up to say 1.45. So close enough to the sale price to be enticing, but obviously not at the sale price because they're not purchasing their own property again. And then we'll put that price online if it doesn't sell. So it'll be from 1.45. Everyone that calls up, we tell them, hey, we had the auction, it didn't sell, bidding went to 1.45, so make an offer over that and you'll be in the race for it. It's a great way to do it. Once again, you are in private treaty again, but at least you have some evidence behind you. If people call up, there's always going to be bids because they are vendor bids, and it's just the way it is. It makes it a lot easier. And then once again for conditioning. So as the sellers, you know, they want to sell their house. If they think it's worth $300,000 more than it is, and there's 10 bids at auction, and it clearly shows that it's not, then at least they know, hey, this is what the market's willing to pay for my property. Whether they can move on or not from that, that's up to them. We'll obviously try to help guide them. We never force our opinions on anybody, but it just shows them, hey, this is what somebody's willing to pay for your property with cash right Thanks so much for watching, everyone. I know it was a bit off script, probably wasn't the smoothest video you've ever watched, but I just thought it was a great way to tell you, my opinion about things. Completely biased, it's just what I like. Other agents, they'll love doing it completely different ways. This is what I like, this is where I've had good results, and stay tuned. Any other questions, let me know. If you're an agent, tell me what you think the best way to sell it is. If you're a seller, tell me what the best way that you've done, selling your property. Leave it in the comments. Thanks for that, guys. See ya.